Welcome to Two Dudes, One Movie Podcast, the podcast where two dudes dive into cinematic masterpieces from a different decade each week. Right now, we're in between seasons, and so instead of our regular scheduled programming, we're here with something new. It's time for some debates, and our debate today is going to be yet another good one. Rick, we're going to the Barbie movie this time. We did Oppenheimer a little bit ago. Now it's Barbie's time to shine. And our debate today is Ken versus Alan. Rick, I'm excited about this one. I think there's a lot to unpack to this. And I'm going to let you dive into it first. But before we let you get into the subject matter, for those of us who are first-time listeners, here are the ground rules. Both sides will get a chance to share their thoughts and opinions without being interrupted. And then, after that, we will have a short rebuttal session. During that rebuttal session, both sides can go at it, talking over each other. Anything and everything is plausible, is possible, Rick. After that, it's up to you, the listener. You decide who won the debate. So make sure to share, like, and comment who you felt like won today's debate. It's the only way for us to feel any emotional satisfaction. So we're really counting on all of our listeners out there to make their decisions known. Rick, and with that being said, the floor is yours. Ken versus Alan.
Park, my initial argument's going to be a little bit short and sweet because I think it packs such a punch. So here we go. There's a lot to say about Ken because there's multiple things that people talk about in the Barbie movie, and one of them is always Ken. But Park, not rarely, there's Alan in those conversations. Now, Park, we can talk about doll sales, right? We can talk about Barbie's doll sales all day. The Ken doll, the physical Ken doll by Mattel, is a doll triumph, right? I don't know how many were sold. I also don't know how little amount were sold for Alan. And Park, can we just talk about fashion? I have nothing to say about it, but it was beautiful. We have the Mojo Dojo Casa House, which is a vital part of the story. The whole scene in Barbie was pretty vital there, Park. It was a little turning point. He was a bad boy there. He wanted the patriarchy. He wanted horses. Horses was the very first thing I wrote down for this, but I'm bringing it there right now. And we have a song. We have one of the greatest ballads, Park, that might just beat the Bowser song for an Oscar. We'll see.
Bold.
But again, the Academy is as subjective as ever, so they'll probably pick Bowser because that's the Academy.
That should be a whole nother debate in itself right there.
I know, that easily could be. We should definitely do that. Park, this all culminates to one single final point that, to me, anything you say will be wrong because of this point. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it.
Beach.
Well, you beached me there.
It's your turn.
You beached me there, Rick. No, I think I have a pretty compelling argument for my man Alan here. Rick, first and foremost, there's only one Alan. Knuff said. I think I said that right. Knuff.
Yeah. Look, you just put Ken right in that argument, Park.
Whatever. That's
crazy. Ken's everywhere.
It was meant to be a funny pun. Anyways, Alan is wholly and completely original. There's no one else but Alan. How many Kens are there in the Barbie movie? How many Kens are there in doll form out in the world? A whole lot, Rick, but there's one Alan. Also, Alan's a real man, not a boy, because he doesn't just hop on the patriarchy bandwagon, Rick. He wants women to continue to be empowered because he knows better than any Ken that a society where women share the power is a wholly better society to live in. Also, Alan's been pushed to the sideline. That was something you just said in your little stance there. Before the film, probably 90% of the population didn't even know who Alan was. But he doesn't let that disrespect get to him, Rick. The moment Ken realizes he's been shoved to the side and not the center of attention, he creates the most toxic living environment known to Barbie Land. Alan, what does he do? He tries to save it. A hero. A hero, Rick. So let me ask you, is that really the person you're going to get behind and support? Sure, Ken, he's funny, and he has a catchy song. But the man behind the tan, Rick, is that really the man you want to get behind? I'm just going to leave it at that.
Park, I'm chiming right in whether you're done or not. Because I'm heated about this. First of all, this debate, in my opinion, I'm just saying who the best character is. As a person, we all know, okay, as a person, it's fine. We can maybe get...
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that this debate was called which character is better, Ken versus Alan. No, it's Ken versus Alan.
Who are characters and toys.
Yes, but they're more...
Well, Park, I'm going to tear down, I'm going to pick... Just gonna pick at this one by one. Pick these points. Your very first point was there's many Kens, so many Kens, and there's only one Alan. Are you telling me that Alan is also better than Barbie? Because there's a heck of a lot of Barbies, Park.
Maybe.
Park, that hurts me to my core. Park, hurts me to the core. I'm gonna be honest. I can't read my other notes. Well, I literally just took. I can't read what it says. Oh. He only chose the Barbies in the first place because he was looking out for himself, not a better world. The Kens were not nice to him. Okay, we can say that. Kens were not nice to Alan.
Yeah, so why do you want to support someone who's not nice? They can't be...
I'm not supporting
They weren't
anyone
nice
here,
to the women, and they weren't even nice to the other men that were a little bit different than them.
Again, I'm not supporting anyone here, Park. I'm just saying who the better character is for the story. Objectively, some might say.
Yeah. Well,
you can leave Ken out of the story, Park. You miss the second best fighting scene. We all know who's the best fighting scene, who's the better one is, and you miss maybe a good little joke here and there at the very beginning, right? Maybe a little sprinkled throughout. But Park, if you take Ken out of Barbie, the plot won't even make it there. You're gonna miss an incredible song. You're going to miss just absolutely stunning choreography.
But Rick, wasn't that the point of the movie? To take Ken out of Barbie, to separate the two?
What do you mean take him out of Barbie?
Because it's always been Ken and Barbie. But maybe it's just Ken and Barbie.
Well, yes, but in the movie, as we talked about last week with Sleepless in Seattle, they were two people that were in the same movie doing their own things. It's okay. If they're doing their own things, Ken is still a vital part of this movie.
Rick, I don't argue that he's a vital part of this movie.
Way more vital than Alan.
Rick, it's not about who's more vital to the story. It's about who's better. And Alan is better as a human and individual.
But these are toys. These are not humans. And you know what the number one thing that says, hey, this is a great toy? If there's a lot of them. There's only one Alan. There's only one stinking toy.
All I'm going to say is there is a difference between quantity and quality. Just look at the Marvel movies nowadays.
Yeah, Park, but when it comes to toys, you can judge a lot by sales, Park. This is the business world. It's dog eat dog. It's all about business, Park. And Barbie sold a lot, Ken sells a lot. Honestly, you can even say in the story there's a little theory going around that the reason why Barbie never loved Ken is because I don't believe that the doll version of her had a Ken, right? They didn't really play around. So that's probably our reason there.
Rick, you're basing your arguments off of theories now? Is that what's going on? Theories with no relative support to back it up?
I think there's relative support there. There can be theories with support. Isn't gravity a theory? I don't think it can be technically proved. We all know it's there.
Rick, I'm just going to go back to another point that you talked about. You talked about horses earlier.
Yeah, I did.
And to me, it sounds like you're being like a little horse boy over there. Are you a horse boy?
I'm not a horse boy, but Park, I know my way around a horse. I barrel raced them back in my day, Park, at that camp.
I
Without falling down.
also
Park,
barrel raced.
I beat anyone who ever came up against me barrel racing, so I know my way around a horse here and there.
Rick, were you walking or were you trotting on the horse?
Oh, Park, what's after trot? We were going after trot.
You don't even know.
Do you know?
Gallop.
We were galloping.
Golly, Rick.
Doing. But horses can be an incredible attribute even if I don't know them. Ken doesn't know a lot about horses.
Rick, I'm just going to say this back to our argument, though. Alan is an essential part of this story as well. If it wasn't for Alan helping those Barbies in the most darkest moment of Barbie Land.
Why do you help him, though, Park?
It doesn't matter.
He was just looking out for Alan, no one else.
Well, who's been looking out for Alan his whole life? That's what he's had to do his whole life to survive, Rick.
Not even the Barbies were looking out for him.
No one was.
He was just hopping all over train.
Think about that. Nobody cared about Alan, even when the Barbies were in power, but he still decided to help them.
Park, in the end, again, these are toys, and if this is the very first Toy Story movie, Ken would be in Andy's room. You know where Alan would be? He would be under the bed with the little baby head spider thing that's in his neighbor's house.
Golly. And you know what? I think what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and that's why Alan is stronger and better.
I mean, you can talk about any single character and be that too. Also, Park, my closing argument, and it was one that you can also say, if you must, it was my opening argument, beach.
Rick, Alan is so compelling that he doesn't need to beach. Alan
No.
is Alan. And isn't that enough? Isn't that enough?
Hey. Where was the first time we met Alan?
On the sidewalk.
Was he not on the beach?
He was on the sidewalk next to the beach, but he wasn't on the beach.
That's part of the beach, Park.
No, that's the sidewalk,
that's part
Rick.
of the beach there. That's part of the beach, Park.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize the beach included cement.
So, Park, if you're down in, Santa Monica, and you said, hey, I'm going to walk to the beach, you're probably going to walk on the sidewalk a little bit to go to the beach.
Yeah, to go to the beach. But
Alan was on his way. He might have been well on his way to the beach.
You're making assumptions now. You don't know that. Rick, I need cold, hard facts. I don't need assumptions. He could be strolling to the grocery store, for all we know, picking up his imaginary food.
They don't even eat.
Yeah, well, no, they do eat. They just eat imaginary.
Actually, we don't actually know what the Kens or Alan does there. So, Park, you as well are making assumptions. You're making assumptions there might be a grocery store.
Well, I'm making assumptions to prove the point that you're making assumptions.
Also, Park, this is Barbie. There's some musical, chef's kiss in there. By all characters, except for Alan.
Isn't Ken the only one that sings in this film?
Yeah.
So all other characters, but you mean Ken.
Just Ken. Also, his style was so much better, Park. One, he rotated clothes like it was nothing. It was incredible.
Rick, so you're promoting the man that is rich and has privilege and the ability to have a bunch of outfits, and you're belittling the man who doesn't have the opportunities to have a fresh new outfit every single day, who has to work hard to keep the clothes that he has on his back, Rick? Is that what you're doing? You're belittling those people?
No one in Barbie Land works, Park.
What do you mean? There's a president. There's an attorney. There's a doctor. What are you talking about? Nobody works.
You're telling me that Alan works hard for himself?
I don't know what Alan does. Maybe we'll find out in the sequel.
He probably just sits on a sidewalk, Park, and does nothing.
Well, you know what Ken does? He beaches, Rick. That's really productive to society.
It is, Park.
I'm sorry.
Also, we don't know where Ken's getting his clothes. It could be thrifting. Again, we have no idea. Sustainable, Park.
There you go with those assumptions again, Rick.
We're both making heavy assumptions in this part of our story.
So be it. Rick, At the end of the day, Alan is the better man. He was on the right side of history. And if it wasn't for his help, why is he not a man? Why is he not a man, Rick?
Is
it because he doesn't have genitals?
Park,
is that what you're saying?
What defines a man? Define a man, right?
The character of an individual. Someone who's willing to step up and do the right thing, even when it's hard. And yes, it was hard. He wanted to run away from the other kins. But at the end of the day, he stepped up and did what was right.
Park, if that defines a man to you, then is he more of a man than you are?
Yes. Yes, he is. And I'm damn proud to say it, too. Alan is a man.
Neither of these are toys. These are not men. These are toys, Park.
Toys that represent the man.
It's true, but what is a man in today's society, Park? We don't know.
I just answered that question for you like 12 seconds ago. What more do you want from me?
Beach.
All right, I think on that note, we're going to have to bring this debate to an end. So, who did you think won this debate? Remember, it's up to you, the listeners, now. Make sure to like, comment, and share who you thought won and lost this debate. It's the only way we're going to be emotionally satisfied after this. And as always, thank you so much for listening to Two Dudes, One Movie Podcast. We appreciate you listening, and we look forward to having you join us on our next debate. Until then.